If I could bring you in, and I know that you and your wife Gay were faced with the same awful choice that faced Amanda Mellett.
We were. I think it's very important, again, in the interest of language, that we are quite clear that there is a difference between disabilities and life-limiting conditions and fatal fetal anomalies, which are conditions which are not capable of sustaining independent life outside the womb. Our son had a condition called severe anencephaly. Most of his skull was missing and his brain was missing. He could not sustain independent life. There was no question whatsoever of him surviving for any length of time, and that was confirmed to us by 5 different medical professionals in 3 hospitals in 2 jurisdictions. My wife would have been forced to continue with that pregnancy for 5 more months in this country, not able to bear the social contact with other people, working with the people that she worked with, being stopped by people in the streets, in the full knowledge that our son would not die, or would not live, I beg your pardon. And this was a situation which was absolute torture for us. And we made a decision which was in our best interest and the best interest of our family. And that decision required us to leave our carers, leave our family, and travel to another state. We did spend time with our son. He was delivered naturally. He had an induced labour. We got to spend time with him, but we would have gotten to spend more time with him had we been able to go through that process here in Ireland. Our family members would have gotten to meet him. We would have had the dignity of having a funeral and a community to stand with us and support us in our loss. Instead, we got a jiffy envelope delivered by a courier a couple of weeks later. That's unacceptable. That doesn't reflect what we believe Ireland as a society believes should be happening to women experiencing these types of tragedy now.
But what about the argument that Tracy has just put forward, that you legislate for this particular circumstance and that leads to a slippery slope, and then children that are diagnosed with having disabilities may be aborted?
It's the responsibility of our legislators to legislate. They also have an obligation to uphold international human rights law. This isn't imposed upon Ireland. This is something that Ireland signed up to. There was discussion earlier on in the programme about upholding the law, and Ireland is one of those countries that has pledged to uphold international human rights law. And we'll find out very soon whether our government is going to honour that commitment which it made and actually take steps to change our legal environment soon. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is talking about abortion being an only solution. But it is a solution for some women in some circumstances, and denying them access to that is not a solution to anybody's complaint or grievance or view.
As you said, in your case there was no prospect of your baby Joshua surviving, yes. But sometimes doctors make mistakes, that medical projections can actually be wrong, and babies have been born after doctors have told parents that they can't be.
Babies have been born. Those incidents are very, very rare. The doctors do give us full information based on their experience of a wide range of samples. What is the median survival rate? What is the longest survival rates that are recorded? And based on their own individual scans, on amniocentesis, on CVS screening, which have all have very, very high accuracy rates, they give us what they feel is the best prognosis in our circumstance. And in every other area of medicine, we trust doctors to give us advice. We get second opinions. We avail of the best scans, the best investigative technologies that are available, and we make decisions on that basis. I think everybody should know the full facts about their situation, and they should be able to make their choices for what's best for them and their families in those circumstances, and they should not be kicked out of their country and made to feel like criminals for doing so.
What about the fact that some people, I heard Archbishop Eamon Martin earlier objecting to the fact that the UN was telling us what to do?
It's a bit ironic, to be perfectly honest, that he would take that view. The UN isn't telling us what to do. We're members of the UN. We've signed up to the Covenant for Civil and Political Rights. We have signed up to the optional protocol to accept the decisions of the committees which have been set up by countries to monitor adherence to human rights law. The UN isn't an outside body. We're part of the UN. They're not telling us what to do. They've made a finding in the case of Amanda's case that she was abused and she was treated to cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment.
Okay. Tracy Harkin, if we could go